Hi, I'm Jessica Lynn, and welcome to my design studio. I'm going to teach you how I transformed this table into a gorgeous outdoor dining table, including a fire pit. I purchased this table, including 6 gorgeous wicker chairs from Craigslist for only $75. First, we're going to clean the table with isopropyl alcohol and just make sure and rub it all down really well. We want to get all the dirt and grime and grease off of this table. This table was used for interior use in someone else's home for many years. It's solid wood, so I knew that this would be an excellent table to get ready for outdoor purposes and outdoor use. Also, I need to mention that we're starting with this table upside down, and I'm cleaning this area first because this is the first place we are going to paint. We are using a porch and floor enamel paint. This is an interior-exterior latex paint that is architectural enamel. It's a Waterborne formula for concrete and wood floors. It's by Sherwin-Williams. The color that I'm using is Tony Taupe. It's in a satin, and that is 7038. It's the same paint that we use to paint and redo our front porches on our house. When you're doing a project like this, it's best to start with the legs, the underneath side of the table, and just go with a grain of wood and go across. I'm also painting the very base of the table, and I'm just taking my time, and I'm going to make sure that there's no drips coming off anywhere, and I'm just applying a nice thin coat right off the bat. This table happens to have really nice farmhouse style looking legs at the bottom, but that does create a lot of extra work for me to make sure that I get the paint into all of the areas, and I'm double checking that I didn't miss any spots for these legs. I did 3 coats of paint on these table legs, and I'm going to go ahead and get ready and paint the base as well and do 3 coats of paint down here. And I'm also just going to take my time and make sure that I don't have any blobs or drips, and I'm spreading the paint out nice and even, and I let the paint dry in between each coat thoroughly before I do another coat of paint. Here's a little painting tip I learned from my husband. In between coats, while you're letting each coat dry, go ahead and clean your brush. Also, while your brush is drying on the side, I take a piece of plastic wrap and push it down onto my paint, kind of like you would on top of homemade pudding or something. So, because paint will leave a skin at the top when it dries, and you don't want that. I also have 2 brushes, so that way when one is drying, the other one is ready to go, and I can just pull my piece of plastic right off of my paint, and I'm ready to go to town on it again. Here's the gas fire pit table that I found at Lowe's that can go on top of tables. It comes with this little holder for your 5-gallon container of gas, and it has the rocks, and it also has a cover and the hoses, and we're going to show you how to put this all together. You are actually looking at the underneath side of this fire pit, and you can see that there is the little gas nozzle sticking up. That's the part that needs to actually go down into the table, and my husband here is going to be flipping this upside down. You can see that that's actually the direction it needs to go, and he's already measured exactly where he needs to drill a hole in our table for this to work. These gas fire pits are so cool, and they're actually meant to go on tables that already have a hole for an umbrella hole. So those outdoor tables that you see all the time at Home Depot and Lowe's that have the hole in the center, that's what this gas fire pit is made for, but we're making it work for our table. I had the hole drilled first before we go ahead and we're going to be painting the top of this table. And before we paint, I really need to wipe the top of this down as well with isopropyl alcohol and just make sure that there's no grease and grime and dirt, and let that thoroughly dry. And then we're going to go ahead and put our 3 coats of paint on the top of this table. And what I decided to do is to layer down the first coat all basically in one direction, linear lengthwise on the table, and just make sure that I was going with the grain of wood and bringing the paint all the way across. And I also was doing the sides at this time and making sure that I didn't have any drips coming down on the table that were going to look funny at the bottom. So you just really want to pay attention that you're doing a nice even coat that doesn't have drips, and just take your time with it. I know that this paint has held up really well on our front porch when we went ahead and redid it. It was on cedar decking that we had out front, but the previous owners had put some sort of orange paint that had started to peel, and it was awful. So we had scraped that down, and then we did a coat of this exact paint, and I had a bunch left over, and I'm just using it up on another outdoor table project, and it works fantastic. It's really going to seal the table and keep water from penetrating the wood. I'm just making sure that there are no drips coming down on the bottom of the table and double checking that. It's a pretty important part of doing your paint job. Here's the finished table. It has 3 layers of paint. I let each layer dry thoroughly in between so that it really had a chance to cure, and it sat in my house an extra couple days just to make sure it was fully cured before we set it outside. Time for the fun part. We've got the table outside. We're putting our fire pit on the table. We're going to go ahead and hook up all of the hoses underneath and get it hooked up to our gas 5-gallon tank. Now let's put all of our beautiful rocks. There was rocks that you notice that came with this fire pit, but I didn't really want that brown amber looking color. I preferred to get this big thing of crystals, and I used it for both of our outdoor tables. I put crystals in both of them so they match and go together, and I think it adds a very classy looking touch to your outdoor fire pits. This has an adjustable flame on it, so we're just kind of messing with it and playing with it and lowering the amount of gas that's released, and then upping it and just seeing how big the flames get and how it looks. My husband and I were both like seriously impressed with the amount of flames that come off of this little fire pit tabletop accessory. We were just like amazed by the whole thing, and the heat that it generates is actually pretty substantial as well. So, you know, for a cool outdoor feature, I think that this really hit the spot for us and makes it such an elegant, classy spot to hang out on our back deck and enjoy the sunsets and the view. Also, it's a good idea to get covers for everything, just like you would a normal outdoor dining set. This happens to be plastic covers that I found on Amazon that work perfectly for these chairs. Now, I don't keep those on all the time. Actually, when it's sunny days, it's not even on at all. And then this is our cover for the fire pit that it came with. And then I also purchased a full outdoor dining table cover that would cover the whole thing, just for protective layers for this table. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching.